a Netflix original film.
The Wi-Fi isn't working.
In the event of a global communications breakdown, do the following. Stay inside.
What just happened here is happening everywhere.
Avoid strangers.
We've all been deserted.
I don't trust them.
And most importantly, do not panic. Julia Roberts.
What happens next?
Mahershala Ali.
I knew something was coming.
Leave the World Behind. Rated R. In select theaters now and on Netflix December 8th.
Today on CityCast Denver, if it feels like everything is getting more expensive these days, you're clearly not feeling the holiday spirit, because at least one local Christmas staple is somehow cheaper than ever. We've got a couple of great guests who are putting on their own sold-out holiday show this weekend to break down that and all the other biggest stories of the week. Today is Friday, December 8th. I'm Paul Caroli, and here's what Denver's talking about. Welcome back to CityCast Denver, the show about the state whose governor is not just tackling housing policy, but also sounds like he's casting a holiday musical. That's right, Mr. Polis recently speculated that disgraced former congressman and notorious huckster George Santos might just fit the role of, quote, gay villain. That's right, it's Friday. We're here at the 5280 Magazine Studios. Bree Davies is here, of course. Hey, Bree.
Hi, Paul.
Bree, how do you feel about that?
I mean,
Polis calling out Santos.
I was more annoyed that he was like, he is funny, he is camp, and maybe a gay villain. I'm like, do you know what camp is?
Do you think he's camp?
No.
I feel like his story is camp,
Please
but I don't...
join in here.
Oh,
Yeah.
we're chomping at the bit. Jared Polis is not camp.
Thank
He
you,
wouldn't know
Jared
camp
Polis
is.
doesn't
know what camp is. He wears Asics running shoes.
He does not know what, yes. That was my main beef with this tweet was, camp is not
to be
George
to be
Santos.
to be a gay villain, you have to like have some sense of fashion.
And also, George Santos doesn't either.
No.
So.
But I do believe that Jared Polis would find George Santos fashionable.
Yeah.
Anyway, you've heard their voices. We got a couple of great guests today. Lee Robinson and Kate McLaughlin, comedians and co-hosts of the podcast and event series Dyketopia, are here. Hey,
Hello.
welcome.
Hey, y'all.
Hey, George Santos, gay villain. Jared Polis, gay villain. What do we think?
No. Gay nerd, basic gay. Those are the two.
Yeah.
That's what
Snaps,
they are to me.
snaps.
You know?
Venn
Yeah.
diagram, they are not overlapping. it barely a sliver in the middle. It's just
They
there.
both watch some Bravo series. That's
perhaps
the little crossover.
Yeah, but like at the hotel. Like they don't follow
Not
it.
at home. They just watch when they have cable.
Exactly.
I feel like George Santos watches.
Yeah.
I feel like he's wanting to get cast in like
This seems like his best route to get cast on a
Well,
Bravo
someone
show.
was asking, our producer Olivia sent me a video of him, of a camp, he did all these cameos and someone was like,
yes.
will you ever be on RuPaul's Drag Race or something? He's like, I'll think about it. I'm like,
That's so.
maybe you're not good enough.
You
though.
got to admire the confidence, though.
True. Unabashed for no reason.
Pretend that he is in as demand as he is pretending he
Yeah,
is.
nothing says in demand like being on Cameo.
Yeah. $20 a pop.
Oof.
I wonder what he was charging. Do we know?
It's like
can find out.
$400.
400?
Wait, is it?
Whoa, okay.
For George Santos?
Started at 75, I'm pretty sure.
Okay. And then he worked his way up.
Strange.
So today we're doing a fundraiser for a cameo from George Santos.
Please donate.
Yeah.
We're
Donate
raising
now.
money.
Because I don't
This
want
is
to put
urgent.
my money into it because
I
I,
want-
don't think it's right. But you guys seem great. And
and we
deserve
should
it.
have him make one for Jared Polis, for our governor.
Oh,
Yeah.
my
Little
God.
clap
That
back.
would be
Yeah, a clap.
hilarious.
All right, let's get into our top story.
Our real story.
A real story.
yeah, we already did.
No, we're done. Moving on from that.
That was the news.
I mean, it is news. But,
Top of the lineup.
Anyway, so the top story today is the holidays, but specifically how Denverites like to celebrate them. Big part of that is these annual events like Camp Christmas, which is out at Stanley Marketplace, or DCPA's A Christmas Carol. Shout out to our sponsor this week. We got a really interesting look into this world from the Denver Post this week. But first, I want to start with you two, Kate and Lee, because tonight is the first night of a back-to-back sold-out Dyketopia holiday extravaganza.
A very merry Dyketopia.
We both have tickets, by the way.
Oh,
So
really?
we are going
We
to be there.
logged on at noon because we were like, oh my God, they're going to
way.
sell out.
That's so exciting.
Okay,
Oh my
so
God.
you're coming tonight or Saturday?
I'm coming tonight.
Friday night. Yeah.
Wow, this is
Yeah.
amazing. No, we're excited for it.
It's one of my favorite shows we've put together. It's because I love the holidays.
Yeah, why
So-
did you want to do it? Why did you want to do a big holiday show?
Well, we did one the last time we did one was 2021. We skipped the holidays in 2022, and it was just like I've been thinking about it all year. I don't
Me
know about you.
too, yeah.
There's so much fun to be had with the holidays and humor and queer humor within that. You know, it's
Yeah.
like lots of like, okay, we're going home for the holidays. There's humor there.
Family dynamics.
Family
and
dyn- you know.
family drama and
Exactly,
And,
the George
and
of it all.
trauma.
Drama,
Either
drama.
Yeah, much like Jared Polis, we love camp. And also, I can't think of a more like fun, sparkly, like velvet, all that stuff. I just love the holidays.
Yeah. And it's fun to
true.
bring people together and give them like a big event to like kind of look forward to. That's, like,
Totally.
holiday themed that isn't kind of the mainstream things to do.
Exactly.
All right, well, let's talk about the mainstream a little bit because that's kind of that's another tradition that this Denver Post article was exploring. And this is the Colorado Ballet's annual performance of the Nutcracker. Our pal John Wenzel at the Denver Post reported about some of the economics behind this, which I just thought was fascinating. Basically, the story was the Nutcracker generates more than half of the Colorado Ballet's annual revenue, yet the cheapest ticket prices have not gone up since the year 2000, really. Like, they're not even keeping up with inflation. Bree, what do you make of that?
I'm wondering if how is this affecting like payment of the artists and the dancers? Like,
Good
are
question.
is their money not going up? Because that seems like a weird. Why would you not raise your prices a little bit? I mean, it's nice in this time to have something affordable that everybody can do. I'm all about that, but there is a point at which you have to figure out like what's being sacrificed. Then it seems weird.
Yeah,
Weird to
yeah.
me.
This article, in some ways, it answered questions, but in other ways, it was just more questions came up.
Is there any possibility that the tickets were just insanely priced in the year 2000 and they're finally like a
Catching up.
normal price? Is this like the Princess Diana Beanie Baby of
Events.
yeah?
No, I mean, because it said these were $22 and have gone up to $40.
Oh, whoa!
So that's really not.
$1
you
a
know
year.
the dancers are not.
They're like,
getting
where's
along.
my money?
It doesn't feel right. Well, you two are putting on this event. How many people are involved? Like, how did you think about pricing your tickets and how to program the event? You know,
We think we spent a lot of time thinking about it and talking about it because
Yeah.
you don't want to give in to inflation's up, things are more expensive, let's make our ticket prices $30 a pop. We've like labor over it. We started, I think our first show was $7 tickets in a backyard, and then I remember when we made the decision to go up to like 15, we were like, oh my god.
Yeah, we felt like corporate shills.
We felt like Ebenezer Scrooge. We were like,
yeah. Oh my god, name drop.
Right. He's our financier. But no, it's just that we have a lot of people involved, drag, performers, stand-up comedians.
Because you want to pay people too.
We want to
Oh,
pay
absolutely.
people adequately for their
It's a
time.
huge part of
Yeah.
what we do. And when in recent years, this year, we started bringing out comedians from New York. We have someone coming out from Portland.
You're gonna love them. They're so
funny. And
But you want to make it worth their while. and
exactly. It
It's
takes-
that I find it's that balance between it's like community and economics
Yeah.
can be really difficult because I put on DIY events for like 15 years and it was a struggle every time we wanted to charge more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the reality was we needed to pay ourselves and
Yeah.
we needed to pay the other performers. And usually that often with DIY stuff, that's like the last thing that gets
Totally.
paid, you know?
Well, but we've been trying to do that since the start. We've never had any performers work for free.
That's awesome.
We're working comics as well, so we know it's important.
I think that informs a lot of our choices at the end of the day is that we both are involved in comedy, like as performers and artists, and we know the importance of being paid. So
but we set aside a portion of every like round of tickets that go on sale for like accessibly priced tickets. So we'll do like a 50% off coupon code and say like if you need this,
yeah.
kind of like the honor system, basically. And so
I was going to say, but I like that you use the honor system because it's not like here's a ticket for you. It's like, hey, man, if you need this, we still want you to show up. Here's a way to make you do it.
You're the own best judge.
We're not reviewing grant applications. If you need a cheaper ticket, do
some
that.
means testing.
Exactly.
Send me your tax documents and
Oh my
we'll
God.
talk.
Well, also the idea of us reading anything more or doing any more paperwork sounds terrible. So in the spirit of generosity and ADHD, we're like, just use the code.
Do your thing.
Like, that's fine.
Did you get a lot of increase for those? I always wonder when I see that.
Oh yeah, they get used up.
They get used up every time.
Really? Oh, that's great.
It's awesome.
That's great. How about the Nutcracker itself? Like, I haven't actually been to the Colorado Ballet's version. I don't know if it's a good one. I remember seeing like one where I grew up in Columbus and as a kid, and it was fine.
I have to say, I haven't seen it since I was a kid, but it feels just like one of those things that if it's like your family tradition, you go.
Yeah, I'm a Nutcracker apologist.
Okay.
And what are you apologizing for?
Well, now for how cheap the tickets are.
Excessively priced tickets. Sue me.
I know. Well, it's the Nutcracker's complicated because it's such a huge part of ballet companies.
That's
but
true.
I think they kind of resent that.
Yeah.
That they're unable to because ballet began as a more subversive art form and now it's just the Nutcracker. Yeah. So it's complicated. But I still think it's beautiful. It's all the stuff that I like about Christmas that we were talking about. It's just tradition. It's gorgeous, but
music that was familiar.
Costumes.
You're making me want to go.
We should go. I hear the tickets are really cheap. Yeah.
I know. I just heard that too. Word on the street.
All right, so let's talk about another element of this, which is that the Colorado Ballet, they get a lot of their funding not just from ticket sales, but also from an organization called the Scientific and Cultural Facilities District, or SCFD, which is a 7-county district, including Denver, but some of the surrounding counties, funded by sales tax. So we all pay for it, and it goes to supporting these local arts organizations. The ballet, I looked into their reports, they got $1.4 million from this fund last year, which is about 10% of what organizations in the Tier 1, which is like the zoo and DCPA, get.
Yeah, the SCFD funding is interesting because it's something that Colorado passed as a law like in the 80s. It was very surprising because a lot of cities didn't have the foresight to say, we know that arts is going to be big for us in the future. Let's do something to set in motion a way to pay organizations like this to keep going. And I mean, I love the fund itself. I struggle with who gets the most money.
Always.
But you know what I mean? Because I love the big organizations, but they also have huge donors. It's interesting to me that
it's strings attached, you know?
Right.
It's all about what do the donors want? What kind of art can we do?
Right.
I feel like at the same time that it funds these organizations, it also limits how radical they can be or what kind of voices are showcased.
SCFD did bring us Blucifer, and for that we are thankful.
But
I will never say a bad word about Lucifer, not on mic.
But could Dyketopia become a Tier 3 and get funded through it? I don't know. But that would be ideally to me as an arts advocate. Yeah. That's the kind of level of thing I want to see getting more funding. This isn't a ton of funding though. I mean, at 1.4 million, it's not a huge.
Isn't that a crazy thing to say?
It is weird.
I know.
When thinking about city budgets and operating costs of a big organization like this, it's not huge. But I know I feel you. I'm like, oh my God, what can I do?
That's what we would do with 10 grand. You know what I mean?
Totally.
Well, you two. I mean, you've gotten some. A shout out from the governor, Jared Polis, who we've been talking about earlier. That must have been a big deal. This is kind of the same thing. You're getting recognized by the powers that be, but you got your own radical message. How do you feel about balancing, increasing your notoriety, but also
staying true to
being yourself?
Well, the nice thing is staying true to ourselves is pretty baked into the name.
we can't walk away from our name.
Yeah, by the time you're called Dyketopia, it's always going to be subversive whether you meant it to be or not. So that's kind of nice.
We forget about that too. We're like, oh, Dyketopia.
It becomes normal.
I say it so much.
I co-founded a festival called Tit Wrench, and it's just normal to me. But we couldn't be talked about on the college radio station for 5 years.
Isn't that so funny?
It's wild, but you're like, oh yeah, Dyketopia, whatever, of course. And then people are like, where you're going to what?
You're allowed to say that?
Sometimes it's when hearing my mom or her friends say it, I'm like, oh, it is that word.
So you kind of set that precedence out there, and it's like, this is the subversive nature of, I mean, some people see it as subversive, but it's out there. So if you want to support it and fund it, cool.
It's effective in helping us stay true to our messaging.
Yeah, which is, it's important to us. And
I
think we would love to get more funding and do bigger things. But at the end of the day, it's about if we're having fun and we're feeling like true to our community and true to ourselves and just goofy. Like, we're not that serious either.
Yeah,
so it's
we're
like
not.
we get to have a lot of fun with what we do.
I
I
think subversive, but we're just trying to be silly. Like,
we like to have fun.
We both have putty in our hands right now. I just want the listeners at home
the listeners
to know
deserve to know the truth.
All right. Well, let's leave it there. I mean, I mentioned that the Dyketopia holiday extravaganza, a very merry Dyketopia, what is it called? A very merry Dyketopia is sold out. Where can listeners go to find out about your next show?
We have a mailing list.
We have a mailing list. If you go to dyketopia.com, you can sign up for our mailing list. That's the best way to go because tickets sell out within a couple days usually. But we also have a weekly podcast that comes out on Apple and Spotify. It's called Dyketopia.
Yeah. I wouldn't say that gives the most information. Full disclosure.
But if you like what you hear, we do this.
You heard a little bit
of
this and we're like, I wish they went off topic more.
Then that's what
we have a great
to
podcast for you. Yeah.
All right. Well, all right. Let's take a.
We're getting to you.
Yeah. And so keeping us on
Dyketopia effect.
We're so sorry.
No, it's fun. It's good for me. We're going to take a quick break and we're going to be back with a conversation about Denver's word of the year. What is it?
This episode is brought to you by My Denver Therapy. My Denver Therapy is one of the largest woman and therapist-owned private practices in Colorado. Their therapists have helped thousands of clients throughout the Denver area using proven therapy methods that work. In-person therapy is available in Denver, Greenwood Village, and Lone Tree, all off I-25. But they do teletherapy too. Because they have a team of therapists, they match clients with a therapist who specializes in you, whether you're an adult, teen, couple, or family. My Denver Therapy is also one of the leading providers of ketamine-assisted therapy, EMDR, and internal family systems therapy in Colorado. To get matched with a therapist and schedule an appointment, visit mydenvertherapy.com or search My Denver Therapy to find a location near you. Oh, and as a special gift from us, you can mention CityCast to get $20 off your first session. Just visit mydenvertherapy.com. This episode is brought to you by the Denver Center for the Performing Arts. Because the DCPA Theater Company is back with Denver's beloved holiday tradition, A Christmas Carol. It is a joyous and opulent musical adaptation of Charles Dickens' classic ghost story, tracing curmudgeon Ebenezer Scrooge's triumphant overnight journey to redemption. Broadway World says this production is a, quote, splendidly festive tradition that illuminates the meaning of the holiday season in a way that has resonated for generations. It is a classic. It's the story that makes you think about why the Christmas season matters, and it's really about equal pay. Just kidding. Tickets range from $40 to $150, so come early and save. Don't miss a night filled with music, magic, and miracles. Live on stage at the Wolf Theater through December 24th. Tickets on sale now at denvercenter.org.
And we're back. Every year, the Oxford University Press chooses a single word that reflects, quote, the ethos, mood, or preoccupations of the year. And this week, they announced that the word of the year for 2023 is Riz.
Paul, you had to explain this to me. It's like an offshoot of charisma.
I mean, I'm not the best person to explain this, but yeah, that's all I know. It derives from charisma.
We had a horrifying Zoom call where our Gen Z producer Olivia had to listen to me and our newsletter editor Peyton try to use Riz. And
can we hear it in a sentence?
Oh, it's exactly. Can we? I don't know.
I'd love to hear you do a little.
Like, does someone have Riz?
Yeah, I think that's what it is. That's what I've heard people say.
Or is it something you give in exchange like currency?
Yeah, it's the new Bitcoin.
Is this
have a Riz?
So this hasn't been a word for you all this year either?
We're not young enough
anyway.
For that. No.
Okay. There's still time.
We're fully millennial, so it's not really.
Mm-hmm, same. The other nominations included situationship, swifty, and de-influencing.
At least I know what those are.
Yeah, I love all those words. De-influencing. Oh,
I'm
when I
not
get
sh-
on de-influencing TikTok, I'm like, yeah, tell me what
Will
I
you
shouldn't buy.
Oh, that's
It's like
okay.
the opposite of an influencer. It's someone who's like, listen, you don't need to spend money, and I got this sweater, and that everyone's talking about, and here's the reasons why it sucks. And then you don't buy it, and then you're happier.
Oh,
I like that.
Maybe I need to get on de-influencing.
That is nice.
I thought
Yeah.
it was just people not influencing as much.
Just people
Taking
living
a
their
break.
normal
Like,
lives.
yeah. It's
not
the
taking
synonym
pictures
to
of-
living outside.
Yeah. Got it.
So here's why we wanted to talk about this. Thought it'd be a fun conversation. Denver's word of the year. What would be Denver's word of the year? Do you all have ideas? I've got some ideas of my own, and we have some
You should go for
some
it, Paul.
newsletter readers. Actually, let's start with our newsletter readers because we asked the Hey Denver newsletter readers what they thought earlier this week. We got some interesting responses. Rent. This person wrote rent parentheses in the most negative connotation.
They don't like the
Rent.
musical.
That's big.
Clearly.
Rent derogatory.
That's not a bad one though. I mean, people are talking about rents going up and like rental assistance and
That could be the word of the decade for Denver. It's the thing everyone's talking
my
about.
God.
migrant. We got one from migrant and refugee. I feel like that kind of gets around the same topic.
Yeah, it's in
Sad.
the news a lot.
Sad ones. Tough.
Yeah.
Tough situation. Jokic,
Yeah,
our
that's
hero.
Is that a sports guy?
sure
He's
is.
a great
Nice.
sports
One of the
guy.
biggest, best sports guys.
I'll
we
send
got.
you like
Nice.
8 articles after this.
Okay, I
Oh,
won't
yeah.
read them, but I appreciate
know.
that.
Um,
I might read the headlines. That's important.
I'll send you 8 headlines after this.
Thank you.
Yeah.
My one listener or one reader suggested the word that I was going to say, which is micro community, which is what our mayor Mike Johnston is talking about. He's with his like effort to house people and set up these like hotels and
It's
outdoor
interesting.
spaces.
That word was kind of weird at first because we were like, it was made up,
It
and
sounds
now
like a
it's-
word made up in a meeting. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But now it's sort of become a thing when you say that. Most people in Denver have an idea of what that is.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So it is just like Riz in that way.
It's just like Riz.
Just like
made
Riz.
up in a meeting.
Yeah.
Homeless or unhoused was another one.
Yeah.
That's an interesting one. I mean, that kind of gets to that, change in the way we talk about the issue, homeless versus unhoused, the wording. Do either of you have strong opinions about that, Lee, Kate?
I think the current thing that I see online is unhoused.
Yeah.
I've
Yeah.
seen it a
There's
lot.
been
It
a
just helps-
shift in that too.
Yeah,
I think
bringing
if the-
respect to people who are experiencing that.
I think if the listeners could see our haircuts, they'd know where we stood on that.
Spoiler: mullets, and
yeah.
mine's pink.
Yeah, we have 2 septum piercings, and our hair does stuff I didn't know was possible a couple years ago. So
It's the Riz.
we call it unhoused. Yeah.
Cool. All right. So what do you all think? What are some words that came to y'all's minds? Bree, you want to take us away?
I kind of is like, I didn't do a great job with this because it's 2 words and it's a proper noun, but
I can't wait to hear what you're about to
but
say.
it's Coach Prime. Like I've never heard Denver people talk so much about Boulder in my life than this
In a
year.
good way.
Yeah, instead of being like, oh, Boulder, it's like, oh my, Boulder's cool now.
Boulder. I
Like,
know.
okay. So it was something that was not in my anywhere in my orbit last year.
Yeah.
And now it's everywhere.
Can I be honest? Who is that?
Another sports guy.
Another sports
Okay.
guy.
Is he a coach?
Yes, Deion Sanders.
Lee doesn't do the sports because they go outside and have
I'm
hobbies. And
I'm
stuff.
free. I'm free from it. I know a lot of people love sports, and I'm just like, I'm free from the thing you love. Sorry.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't watch football, but I grew up in the 80s. I know who Deion Sanders is because he was like a
Absolutely,
famous,
dude.
you know what I mean? He was sort of the first, one of those first celebrity style.
He's so
sports.
charismatic.
He is.
Wait.
He dresses well. He's
He's
got the Riz. He has Riz.
There it is. Let's go.
I think so. Yeah.
Huge.
Coach Prime has Riz, Paul.
Yeah.
I feel so stupid
Seems right.
saying that.
The more I say it, the more uncomfortable with it.
Oh, I
get.
think
Yeah.
Coach
Yeah.
Prime is a great word of the year.
Thank you.
Nice.
Thanks.
Kate, how about you? What's your word?
So full disclosure, before you guys sent me the thing about Riz, I thought it was like an onomatopoeia.
Okay.
You've been rizzed or like something like that.
Riz,
And
like snap. Like,
so
wow.
for that, I'm going to say the word of the year is beep.
beep.
Yeah, dude. Like so much construction and traffic really defined my year in Denver.
you know, I was at
Beep is good.
I was at Meow a few weeks ago, and they have this interactive component where you can get a card and you go around, and it's you boop
yeah.
it. They tell you that's what it's called is booping. So you go and they're like, and they use it as a normal word
That's so
because you're in
funny.
the alternate
Someone
universe
got
now
paid
of-
to tell you to boop something.
Yeah,
That's
they were
so
like, just
awesome.
boop your card, and I was
Oh
like,
my God.
okay.
You're like, I'm glad we're all imagining this is fun.
That's so funny.
So I can see where beep would work.
Yeah.
Construction,
Like
I like
beep
that.
beep. Yeah.
Lee, do you have a word
Yeah.
for Denver of the year?
Technically, it's also 2 words. It's
Hyphen.
It's hyphenated. Yeah, sure. Small plates. I feel like Denver's restaurants just decided, oh, we should kind of take part in this as well.
Yeah.
Like, if
Do you
I
want
have,
to pay more for food and make it smaller?
Yeah. It's the
Have
sweet
it on
potato
display.
gnocchi of 2023.
Exactly.
It just-
If I have one more man with a mustache at a restaurant being like, so here's how we do things.
Oh.
It's like, oh, you're going to make me share
Yeah.
2 bites of food for $20 and I'm
Thank
going to be
you.
happy about it. Like, and this is also like 10 years behind the rest of the
That's what makes
country.
it so funny.
It's like, in Denver's like, you don't know what you're about to experience
Yeah.
here or whatever. And I'm like, I'm pretty sure I do.
Yeah.
Like,
No,
I
because
had
I've
food on plates.
been
tapas
to the
in New York
airport in
10 years ago.
Cincinnati, so I know
Yeah.
what's about to
the
happen.
Olive Garden in Cincinnati's airport is doing it. Come on. We're finally just...
Small
So-
plates is great. That's like, I like how it combines like this moment we had over the summer when the Michelin Guide came
Yes,
and they
Oh,
gave out
yeah.
their stars and that whole thing, and then also the inflation factor of like,
Dude,
yeah,
you're
that's
so right
that might
for
be
that.
might be my favorite one
Yeah,
so far.
that's
Perfect.
Good job.
Yeah.
it describes Denver perfectly
The
too.
pain we're
10
all
years
feeling
behind.
when we go out. Yeah, exactly.
10 years behind, but all the confidence of someone 20 years ahead.
Yes. Literally.
That's Denver's new. That's our new slogan.
That's
Yeah.
That's at the airport.
Yeah. Put that on the
That's still
plaque
under construction.
Yeah.
and will be for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Well, listeners, we want to hear from you too. What's Denver's word of the year for 2023? Call in, let us know. The hotline is 720-500-5418. We would love to hear your ideas. We know you got good ones. Once again, the word of the year hotline is 720-500-5418. And we got one more break coming up, and then we're going to be back with wins and fails of the week.
This episode is brought to you by the Colfax Avenue Business Improvement District. This holiday season, give the gift of local love with a bag of Colfax. Picture this, a gift bag filled with 4 to 6 hand-picked products from your favorite spots along Colfax Avenue. Places like the Learned Lemur, 303 Boards, and Balanced Root Apothecary, just to name a few. Want the VIP experience? Upgrade to the VIP bag, and your goodies will come packed in a durable tote made from upcycled material from vintage Colfax street banners. How cool is that? While the specific contents of the bags are a mystery, every single bag will have a locally made lavender-scented candle that celebrates Denver's queer cultural district, Lavender Hill. Every bag is completely customized. Tell the Colfax Ave team a bit about yourself or the lucky recipient at checkout, and they'll handpick items that they know you'll love. Love surprises? Leave the preferences box blank and embrace the mystery. Head to colfaxave.com to grab your bag of Colfax today.
All right, and we're back. Time for our favorite way to end the week. Wins and fails, a.k.a. Rocky Mountain highs and lows. We'll do fails first. Each of us has brought one. These are recent local stories or happenings or just things we saw that are, we thought are fails, and then wins. So who wants to go first with a fail? Lee. I just decided.
Okay, great. Well, I have the article up right now from foxnews.com. And it's basically about how, I don't know if you guys have already covered this, but that father sued one of the Denver school districts for not letting them allow, or like trying to get them to allow straight pride flags in the classroom. Huge fail.
As a straight person, I don't know what the straight flag is other than the American flag feels pretty straight
It's
to me.
the Buffalo Wild Wings logo.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know what the flag. Do we know what is the flag?
I'm
Is
pretty
it-
sure
I've
it's
never
like
heard of it,
gray and
actually.
Something this dad made
It's
Red,
up.
like
black.
gray.
Gray.
There's something.
It's the Punisher logo.
Yeah, it's the
Monster.
American flag, but it's black with a blue stripe. Okay, we're.
Yeah, okay.
Oh,
so
it looks like a Sephora
we got
bag.
it up now.
It does look like a Sephora
which
bag.
ultimately
Black
is
and
so
white
gay.
horizontal
That is very
stripes.
gay. I'm like, have you been into a Sephora? It's the gayest place on
No,
earth.
Yeah.
that is so funny. It looks exactly like a Sephora bag.
That's hilarious.
Just bring a Sephora bag. Have your kid put it on their desk and
That'll
calm
say
down
straight
about
pride
it.
more than anything.
Oh my god.
Oh, wait. Oh, gosh.
Yeah, some jagoffs try to get permits for a straight pride parade every year.
You're like, that's just
And
every
I'm like,
other
the
parade.
4th of July is next
Yeah.
month. You have to
Just
calm down.
wait for
Like,
1 minute.
Yeah.
All right. Well, who's next? Bree?
I guess. Okay. I had a serious one, and I'm just gonna go with a not serious one. There's no snow on the ground, and it just really bums. Kate, I feel like you feel this as a holiday. I'm a holiday person.
I need that snow.
I need the snow to
dude.
look.
Yeah.
I need the city to look like it's Christmas.
Yeah.
Yeah, people keep telling me all week, they're like, it's going to snow on Friday. It's going to snow on Friday. I'm not seeing it in the forecast. I think it's
not
wishful
either.
thinking happening.
It was blustery on Sunday morning, and I was like,
great.
this is the start of something. And
great.
that was all gone.
It
and I was
evaporated.
super bummed out.
I
Yeah.
know. That really, it made me feel so happy to be inside and like feeling cozy.
Yeah.
Yes, that's part of it. Is you need the exterior to match that.
Yeah.
So-
And it's really disorienting. Like, I forget it's December like all the time in the past couple days.
So you're like, I'm outside and I'm sweating.
Yes.
I've been biking all week, which I do love, so I'm
Yeah,
not mad about
there
that.
There are pluses
but-
for sure, but I want to be deep in the spirit. It's an immersive experience for me. I want
You
some
know, when
snow.
we're going to get all the snow is in April when nobody
know.
wants it. And
there's
everyone just wants to see a
Christmas
tulip
decorations
blossoming.
are long
Yeah.
gone, and
There's no hot chocolate to make yourself feel better. Ugh.
Yeah.
same lame.
Yeah, I agree with you. That's a huge bummer.
Thank you.
Kate, you want to go next?
Mine was more broad. The Broncos season has been
Oh, okay.
bumming me out. It's just not good. They are doing so bad. And I really thought Ciara's husband was going to bring it home for us
I know.
when he came to town.
I
And I
wanted
thought
them
we'd
to
see them out in
Yes.
restaurants and people would be so happy to see them. And now everyone just laughs at them on Twitter when they go to Nuggets games because the Nuggets are doing well. And I just wanted so much more for Ciara's husband.
did too. I wanted more of her, and I think if they were winning, we'd see her more.
I literally,
Yeah.
this is the vision I had that we'd see her everywhere.
you know.
And
I do wish that happened. They had that clothing store down in, what is that?
Was it in
Park
Park
Meadows
Meadows?
Mall. I
Yeah.
think they were going to open one at the airport, too. I don't know if that actually happened.
What do they
Oh,
sell?
cool.
Like men's khakis or what?
Instagram clothes.
Sparkly button-downs.
yeah, I do imagine, oh my God, there's that store where it's just their whole thing is the button up shirt that you don't have to tuck in.
Oh, untuck it.
Untuck it.
That's what it's called?
Yeah.
I went in there one time and someone was like, "Are you familiar with our store?" And I'm like, "No, but I can
Kinda
read
got
the
it.
name.
Yeah.
We got there."
There's not much to get.
That's
Yeah,
that's
bummer.
the kind of airport shopping I imagine. But
Yeah, I didn't go to their store.
yeah,
Not me
and you
either.
never will because it closed.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll never
Yeah,
know.
Unless those Broncos turn it around.
I know. I don't know. The city's happier when the sports teams are doing well.
So true.
That is
So,
so
like,
Denver. That's
Thank
so
God the
Denver.
Nuggets are
Weird.
slaying because the Broncos are really bumming me out.
They had a good stretch. But yeah, it does look like they're the same old Broncos.
Yeah.
All right, well, I've got
what's
I've
yours,
got
Paul?
one. Mine is definitely a fail. So we did an episode earlier this week with Representative Tim Hernandez, state representative, regular on the show, and he was talking about his experience protesting in solidarity with the Palestinian people. We just got a lot of comments on that episode, as I'm sure
I'll
you
bet
might
you
have
did.
expected.
Yeah.
A lot of folks who are critical encouraged us to look into the rise of anti-Semitism in Denver. So I did that, and I appreciate those comments. So this is my fail. Colorado Newsline reported in early November, this is right in the early weeks of the war, that there had been a 400% increase in anti-Semitism in Denver this year. So that was even before this most recent conflict. And at the same time, from that same report in Newsline, they write that the American Arab Anti-Discrimination Committee has reported 3 incidents of hate against Palestinians in Colorado, including Palestinian students being singled out by fellow students and teachers. Additionally, a Palestinian family business in Denver received multiple death threats, and a gunman shot through the family's home in Greenwood Village.
Oh, no.
So wrong.
Which is, I had not heard about those incidents, and
That's really hard.
it's awful. Yeah, I just don't think, controversial opinion, I don't think that kind of hate has any place in our community.
Hate crimes are also a notoriously underreported statistic, so it's hard to
Get a true picture of that.
Yeah.
It's awful.
All right, well, that's fails. Let's do some wins. Let's turn this thing around. Who wants to give us something fun here for a win? Kate?
Sorry, we just had a very serious conversation. And then you're like, zabba-da-boo-boo. I live right by the new Call Your Mother location.
Oh, hell yeah.
And I love it.
In Cap Hill?
Yeah.
Yeah, I stopped by there a couple weeks ago. It was great.
I love the
It's so
building.
pretty.
It's adorable.
So cute.
The bagels are banging. I'm having a great time.
That's
I
awesome.
love that was a vacant 7-Eleven for 20 years.
Yeah.
I know.
Literally, and they finally were able to put something in
It
there.
took me a second to recall what it used to be because I was like, I've never been to this corner like in anything. So.
Yeah, they shut it down in the early 2000s. It was like the biggest crack dealing corner in Denver. There was this group of like organized neighborhood folks that were called the Unsinkables that were just like, we're done with this.
The Unsinkables?
That's something
It's
to call
called
your
Molly
mother
Brown.
about.
The Molly Brown house is down the street, but it was just like, I think it was like a nuisance spot.
Yeah.
But what sucked was then it was what's worse. You know what I mean? That it's vacant for 20 years.
Yeah.
So I'm so glad something went in there that's like actually people are into.
Yeah, that's really cool. I didn't know the story behind the lot. So yeah, it's nice to see a kick-ass bagel place pop up.
Hell yeah.
So.
Do you have a go-to order?
I'm pretty basic. I usually do like an onion bagel with cream cheese, but I'm gonna venture out and try something new this weekend. I've decided.
I got one that they did that had a hash brown on it. It was like a breakfast sandwich with a hash brown. It was incredible. I loved it.
Oh my god, I can't wait to be
on it?
hungover and go there.
Doesn't that sound perfect? Grease, starch, perfect.
Whoa.
So good.
So yeah, call your mother. Loving it.
I love it.
Bree, I think it's your turn.
Sure. Former home of Rhinoceropolis. It's been many things. Most recently, it was Scorpio Palace, run by my friend Lauren Zwicky.
Wait. What is Rhinoceropolis? For people who don't
Rhinoceropolis
know?
is a famed DIY venue here in Denver, which has been around in some incarnation since the mid-2000s. Along Brighton Boulevard, which was home to many DIY venues. It's been an accidental stalwart, I'll say, is like it wasn't ever meant to be permanent, but it's kind of continued. And it's opening again as Squirm, a new DIY space. I know,
Great
it has to have a
name.
weird name. You know, it has to have a weird name.
That's how
So
it-
far, they've all been great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was, it was next to like, there was a Hamsterdam, Club Scum, Glob is still there, like all this kind of thing.
Classic.
But
What if none of these are real and you're just telling us
You're
as a
messing with
there's
us.
prank?
documentation, they exist. But it's just really cool to see that space still thriving. And the fact that artists can't live in it anymore, but are still paying rent to run it as a space is really admirable to me,
Yeah,
because
that's
that
hard.
used to be sort of the benefit was you could live there and have the space, but it's not zoned for living. So the artists that are running it, I only know one of them, Michael Stein, who's been in the scene for a long time, but there's some new artists running it too. And it's just giving another era for young folks, I mean, for all ages of people to go check out some weird music and art.
That
And
sounds really
I'm
cool.
I'm so stoked for them to start another iteration of it. Good for them.
More of that in
Yeah.
Denver.
Yeah.
Yeah,
dude.
for sure.
I
Weirdo
like
spaces.
Squirm. I like that name.
Isn't that a great name?
Yeah, it's exactly how I felt the one time I went to Rhinoceropolis. Halloween night a few years ago, hanging out outside an oil barrel full of fire.
Oh,
don't know,
I
it was
love
weird.
Oil Barrel Full of Fire. That's
I was
a
like
great
cigarette butts.
club. Yeah.
Quite a vibe at that place.
Yeah.
You know what? I'm going to go next, and then Lee, we can let you finish it off.
right.
My win this week goes to I'm going to Northern Colorado for this one. It goes to Loveland's own Colorado Eagles, which is the Avalanche's farm team. Turns out we're doing a sports show today. Didn't think we would be doing that.
I'm
Is
so
into
lost.
it.
With, yeah. I know.
Kate's the sports guy.
I contain multitudes. Yeah.
Anyway, the Eagles, they get my win because Adam Sandler, Hollywood superstar Adam Sandler, was in town doing a comedy show in Loveland on Monday night, and he stopped by to see the game. They got a photo of him. They put it on their social media. They all look great. Everyone looks happy.
That's what
Sandman
that Adam
was in
Sandler
town.
photo was.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and I didn't even know. But when you look at the photo, you see it a second time. There's a guy at the bottom with a half-eaten
Bowl of
plate of
noodles?
pasta. That's Rob Schneider.
Yeah.
Shut up.
Yeah.
Oh, I
didn't
was like,
recognize
what's
him at
the
first.
deal with the noodles? Oh, it's because it's Rob Schneider.
Who's
Yeah.
doing whatever he wants to be
I
doing.
Yeah.
Hanging out with his buddy.
That makes sense.
He's telling people, no, I'm not Pauly Shore. That's
What's
what
the
he's
venue
doing.
in Loveland?
I'm guessing it's the Budweiser Center.
Oh, that's right. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I have not been there for anything, but
Me neither.
interesting.
But I'm just thinking of like a large scale
Yeah.
arena.
Totally.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know what. Yeah, that's cool. Well, that's cool.
Yeah, cool.
Good for them.
Sandler's in town. Love it.
Love it.
All right, Lee.
Your last
Okay,
one.
so I know there's been, I don't know if this can actually be considered good news. We'll see what you guys think.
I can't wait
But
to
I
hear
was
what you're about to
spicy.
say.
It's not. It's like, it's so the opposite of spicy. But I was perusing the Denver Reddit, and the Front Range Rail project has gotten some initial federal funding to start the process again of creating that Front Range line. So I'm like, I'm excited by this, but I just kind of also still don't believe it's going to happen.
Yeah, I
I'm
can't wait for our
100%
kids to ride
with
that
you.
light rail.
I can't wait for our grandchildren to ride that light
Yeah,
rail.
yeah.
Or their children, maybe.
The AI projections of
Yes.
their souls.
The
you mean.
holograms of us will be riding that light rail.
Hologram Tupac is going to have a really good time.
It's going to be, welcome to the DIA. No.
We actually know the guy, Dr. Kev, does all the voices at DIA.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
He's a comedian.
He's
Yeah.
a local comic, and he's the voice
Veterinarian.
of the
Yeah, I was
Denver
like the
airport.
veterinarian.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah.
Huh.
He's awesome.
I didn't
Great
know
guy.
that.
Neat. Yeah, the front range the front range rail is it's an interesting idea. I'm glad the money is cool that's happening. I saw it was like $500,000. I also read that article. The planning, I don't know.
I just
Maybe
it's,
at that point, it's a long
it's
ways
not-
off. If it
it's-
ever happens, if anyone ever wants to use it.
it's not ironic as much as like this is how Colorado was sort of established in most cities is where the rail went.
Railway.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's interesting that
Why
you-
couldn't we keep it up and running?
right like it's I don't know, we talk about driving and all these issues on the show all the time, but like yeah, it's a great idea in theory. I really want it to happen.
I have to go to Fort Collins tonight for a show, and I would love to get on a train
God,
and
that'd be
And not
amazing.
read it,
drive.
read my
wouldn't it?
book. Like,
yeah.
yeah, but maybe one day. It's
I-
good to have hope.
It is.
I had a really
That's
delulu
hopeful.
plan for Denver the last time that we were in the Super Bowl with Peyton Manning, where I thought that if we proved we were a football city, we could then have the Super Bowl here and it would go so well. And then we could have the Olympics here. And
Oh,
then that
boy.
would put all the infrastructure in place for a light rail to Summit County
Hell yeah.
and Fort Collins.
You're speaking my
I was
language
like,
right
Kate,
now.
you are
My heart started
you are
racing.
singing to Paul right now.
Yeah. So this was me 2014 at any bar. Just like, and then we're going to take a train to the moon. But yeah, no one listened to me. And look how that turned out.
Yeah.
Here we are.
You're a comedian with a
We're gonna
podcast.
have to have you back on to talk these Olympic dreams because this is
Yeah.
one of Paul's
So transit
greatest
dreams
missions.
mostly.
Oh,
right?
also a big topic for us. So.
Well, here we are at the end of the show. I just want to thank you two, Kate and Lee, for coming in. Maybe our new sports correspondents, perhaps. Dare I say
Lee
it?
Robinson, sports correspondent.
First time and last time for everything. Is that a sports guy? That's all I have to offer you.
Sports guy. It's a guy that does sports.
Yeah.
Yep.
You'd like him.
Yeah.
Well, I think that was it. I mean, that was a nice
Thanks.
time.
Thank
all.
you guys
Thanks
so
for
much
having
us.
You're great.
This was so fun.
I know. Loved it.
That's all for today here on CityCast Denver. Our producers this week were me, Paul Caroli, Olivia Jewel Love, and Natalie Rivera. Peyton Garcia writes our morning newsletter, Hey Denver. Bree Davies is our host. Our music is by Los Mocochetes, with additional mixing by Tyler Lindgren. Plus, a holiday twist on some of our music by Denver local and listener Jacob Bloom. Hi, Jacob. If you haven't already, subscribe wherever you get your podcasts, follow us on Instagram at CityCast Denver, and tell Cameo star George Santos about us the next time you see him. You can sign up for that daily newsletter and learn more about us at denver.citycast.fm. See you next week.
You guys are both drinking green tea?
Yeah, we're green tea people now.
Yeah.
I can sense the air of superiority.
I know.